Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode. Today I have something really special to show you. So back in December of 2022, I moved down here to San Diego to work at the Wild Animal Park, and I thought what great way to celebrate me coming down here was by buying an orchid. The very first orchid that I bought is a Zygopetalum jumpin' jack, and it is still alive, but it has started to finally bloom again. Now it has bloomed twice since I've got it. Once before, it was almost 1 year from the first time that it was in bloom, which was December. The last bloom was in October, and now I have another flower spike on it with flowers that are already in bloom a few months later. So I'm going to show you what they look like. Here is what Zygopetalum Jumpin' Jack looks like. So this was a really cool plant, and I'm so lucky to have this one in my collection, and I'm really grateful for it blooming so fast. I mean, just look at those flowers. Look how spectacular that is. I don't have a lot of orchids that have green petals, and to see the combination of the green in the background is just really unique coloration on these. And I love that wide purple lip with the surrounding in white. To me, this is just a very beautiful plant. And for care requirements for these, they don't require a whole much. I actually have them in the same conditions as Phalaenopsis, and so I would argue that these are probably the easiest orchids to take care of. So they're great for beginners. If you take care of them properly, they're very rewarding. They are very tolerant with temperature changes. As long as you don't go drastic temperature changes, they're very tolerant at water requirements. If you're known for like not watering it very much, or if you're known for overwatering them, they are a pretty hardy orchid. And I can't say enough how cool this is to have Zygopetalum in my collection. Now, this is a hybrid species, so I'm not too familiar with actual species Zygopetalums. I would like to get my hands on those in the future though, but the flowers on this one are just absolutely stunning. And that is typical for hybrids. Hybrids do have more vibrant colors. Of course, some of them are actually bred for that characteristic, like more purple or more brown or more green. Also the size and the shape of the flowers. I'm not really a huge fan of hybrids, although you can get some amazing orchids like this one. I would prefer to have a bit more of species orchids just because it helps with conservation and stuff. But I'm fairly new to this still, so it has been a real treat to be able to have different orchids of different hybrids so I can get my feet in the door for this kind of stuff. And I thank you guys for supporting the channel. I know I haven't been uploading a lot recently. I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things. Sorry, I'm getting over a little bit of a sickness too. I'm going to try to stick with the routine of every Saturday a new video comes out, but please bear with me. But these flowers are just incredible. This is such a cool orchid. And I love how green the leaves are. The fact that these managed to stay green, and I've got all of the original leaves except for a couple that were down at the bottom here. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, there you go. So some of these ones I had to cut off and I had to pull off because they turned yellow and died. But other than that, I honestly have all the original leaves on here too. So this has been a rewarding plant right from the start, and would 100% recommend this for anybody getting into orchids and getting into plants. Another cool note about this is that you not only get the spectacular beauty of these flowers, but you also get their incredible scent. Now, they have a very strong floral scent in the daytime, especially when the sun hits it just right. I don't know the scientific thing behind that. I think it has to do with the rays from the sun heating the flower up, and that causes it to kind of release the scent a bit more. But then it fades at night. So if you're looking for a really cool daytime smelling orchid, this is the one for you. I do have other orchid species that are fragrant at night, but this is my second favorite plant in my collection. To be able to flower spike within months is really cool too. So I've had the spike growing on it for probably 2 months now. So it'll be interesting to see how often this one blooms throughout the season, because that would be really cool too. I don't know about a lot of you, but I appreciate orchids for the entire plant, not just the flowers. I know some people, and particularly people that are just getting into the plant business or plant hobby, they only want the plants for the flowers because it looks pretty, it smells nice, it's, that's what people want to see. But the people who admire the entire plant, not just the flowers. That's why I take videos of all these plants when they're flowering and when they're not in flower. The foliage. The foliage, the leaves, the roots. People who actually get down into the plant and understand it. And I know I've said this before, but those are the people that really appreciate plants. So, to go off on the Zygopetalum note, talk more about this plant. These pseudobulbs are really cool too. This is where the plant stores its nutrients, and it's basically like a nutrient factory. It converts energy into nutrients, it stores sugars, it stores a whole bunch of stuff, and distributes it to the rest of the plant. If you notice though, these Zygopetalum pseudobulbs are kind of narrow and short a little bit. So that is a characteristic of this type of orchid. I don't see this too much on other orchids that have pseudobulbs. Some pseudobulbs you'll find are more short and fat, otherwise they'll be long and skinny. I know there's a species of dendrobium, an actual species dendrobium, that I would like to get that has a cane, and then it has the pseudobulb. That's a pretty unique orchid right there. But look at this. This is such a treat. And I'm super stoked to be able to share this with you guys. It's such an amazing plant. So with the care requirements, they are the same as Phalaenopsis, as I mentioned before. I have the best success around 70 degrees. You can fluctuate a little bit. It doesn't really matter totally there. just as long as you don't do too big of temperature changes, as I mentioned before. And I water this one once a week, or about when the leaves start to droop. So they'll start to droop like this, and that's when you water it. You can get pretty lax. This is a pretty rewarding plant, so you can get inconsistent care requirements for it. I tried to kind of experiment during the winter time with my orchids to see what they were capable of, and a lot of them pulled through pretty good. So the reason why I say pretty good is because I did have a few issues, and I think 1 or 2 plants died throughout it. Don't worry, I am looking to get those ones again. I do have the names written down. I do have the original tags. So I will make sure to get those again in the future. But this one, you can leave outside as well. And I'm sure, I'm not 100% sure if it will get pollinated. I'm kind of going on like a really horrible rant here of just random stuff. I'm sorry if I do that, people. I'm not good at this by any means. I'm not good at talking by any means. So with that happy note, I think I'm going to end it here. There is going to be more videos on this orchid in the future. I would actually like to get another Zygopetalum jumping jack, just so I can cross-breed them. So that would make for an interesting video too. I do have more videos coming out on the 2 that I did pollinate, the 2 Phalaenopsis that I did pollinate, so stay tuned for that. And I will catch you in the next one.